Don't try to be what you think they want you to be or what you think they're looking for. Write what you love writing about. Be honest, and yeah, see what comes up. Now for the first screenplay part of my writing sample, which is challenge A, the creative challenge. I'm gonna read the assignment first. Write a scene between two very different kinds of people who get stuck in an elevator on New Year's Eve. 2 to 5 pages, please use screenplay format. So I made my New Year's Eve scene about a woman in an unhappy relationship, and she gets stuck in an elevator with a younger guy who's her neighbor, and there's like clear attraction between them, and she doesn't quite know what to do about that. So I like that I chose to write about like kind of a taboo romantic situation because I just love taboo romances. I think the only thing I would go back and tell myself to do while writing this is to just keep revising and to put less pressure on myself so that I could take breaks, like really like relax for a second, come back with a fresh point of view, and then revise. Because if you just power through and keep revising, like you just get in a weird loop and you're not actually bringing anything new to your scene. So like take breaks. Like I think it'd be great to just write a quick draft, revise it the next day, revise it the day after that, revise it the day after that, and revise it the day after that. Just like you work on it a little bit, but consistently for 5 days. Then you're gonna get much more perspective than if you just like bang it out in one afternoon or one weekend, which is I think what I did. So before you look at the PDFs I made available to you, I want to quickly explain what my shorthand symbols on my script pages mean. So the little plus sign means to add a scene or add a bit of dialogue. The loop-de-loop means take out this part or delete. The loop-de-loop with an arrow means replace this with blank. And then the check mark means I love this part. So now let's go through my scene. Okay, interior apartment building night. So I introduce that my main character, Christine, is waiting for an elevator. She's wearing a shiny dress. I don't really describe the setting as much as I would now. Like I could have described like the stained carpet or the, popcorn ceiling with like a water stain in it, rather than just saying like a shabby apartment building, because that's a more general statement. And then when I introduced the younger guy, whose name is Mark, I think I could have given him a costume that was like a university shirt or just something, or like a sports shirt that just showed he was younger or dressed very differently. Yeah, I think I could have used a more interesting description for Mark. And you can be creative with those kinds of descriptions. Like a guy who intentionally hasn't shaved because he loves that scruffy look. Like let your author voice come through. And then I would take out some things, like I described that there's chest hair visible at the collar of his shirt. That just gives a very different vibe than what I was actually going for. So I'd take out that line. Again, this is something I could have caught if I revised this scene more before I submitted it. If I were to write this scene today, I would definitely aim for 2 pages. This scene does not need to be 5 pages like I made it. My point of view now is that just most scenes only need to be 2 to 3 pages, like 3 pages max. But that comes with a lot of revising. Like my first drafts are always longer than the end result is going to be. Anyway, she gets in the elevator. I have marked some lines of dialogue that I just would have taken out, just like that little banter that you would do in real life, but you don't need it in the scene, and the scene will still feel realistic. So you can look at the PDF and see what I have crossed out like this and boxed, because I would take all that out. Oh, I have the line a beat, like a moment passes, crossed out because you never really need that line. Like it's much better to just give your character like props in their hands. Like I could have had Christine look in her purse rather than respond to Mark as a way to like avoid talking to him. So then they start talking. He's like trying to engage her in conversation and she's not really interested. And I like this line where Mark says, "How's the magazine?" And Christine says, "Fine, how's unemployment?" Because it's like I wanted to kind of introduce a little like banter to their relationship. So I gave that a check mark. The elevator comes to a halt. Okay, so I like this, but I think I would definitely have the elevator stop earlier. Like another thing I could have caught if I kept revising is that I could have gotten into this scene much later. Like I don't need her to start when she's like walking to the elevator. I could have started with like the doors open, Mark standing there. And then I would have gotten the elevator coming to a halt on the first page rather than the second page, which is way too late for the main problem to be introduced. There's a section of dialogue I cut out because it's a little redundant to what comes after it, and I like the dialogue that comes after it more because it's more specific. Just like little things like believability of a line, like always remember what your character is coming from, always remember how well these two people know each other. So for example, I have Christine saying, "Mark, the elevator's stuck." She just doesn't even need to say that because it's obvious. But also like she would just say, "The elevator's stuck." like more to herself or something, because she's an acquaintance with Mark. So I would have liked to go back and just write out on my own, like on scratch paper, just the history of their relationship, so that I could have had a very clear idea of how long they've known each other. You want to take that time to like really solidify the world you're writing about. Okay, next page. I cut out a lot of the phone conversation she has with her boyfriend because I think it could have been much shorter, because it goes on for too long, but that's not the point of the scene. So yeah, try to remember what the main conflict of the scene is, what the main joy of watching the scene is going to be. Christine wants to get to the New Year's Eve party as quickly as possible. Mark wants Christine to open up to him about her relationship. It's like someone being faced with their temptation that they really don't want to be tempted with, and they're just like, let me out of this box. And then on this fourth page, I just cut out a lot. Why did I cut out so much? Oh, because I think I had Mark's lines. They were just too much and they were a little too creepy. I was like, because again, it was that Christine was attracted to him. I think I could have used the shoe prop more, because I think I could have had it so set up that her shoe is causing her foot to hurt, so she like adjusts it. Then she like, eventually I want her to take it off and then like fuss with it, maybe like put it back on and then fully take it off. And I want her to be a lot taller than Mark with the high heels on, and so when she takes it off, it's like this nice visual moment where they're eye to eye. So I wanted to take out some of this like dialogue that I didn't think was very strong and like replace it with interesting prop interaction with her heel. And it's funny because I think I thought I had to make a lot happen in this scene. I hit my paper. Like that they almost kiss, and they don't, like, because life happens in small moments that feel big. So like her saying anything about her boyfriend is a big deal, and that's the scene. So then it's like Mark gets what he wants. He gets Christine to open up about her relationship, but the twist is, as soon as he does, the circumstances that have them talking to each other disappear and she's gone. So he doesn't really get what he wants, which is to like be emotionally a little closer with her. Instead, he gets just a glimpse into her life and then she disappears again. There we go. Oh yeah. I had a line that was like very bold of Mark to say, where he's like, I heard you like getting yourself off in the next room, basically that you're like sexually unsatisfied. And I like that I had all of this stuff in there, that I went that far, but if I just kept revising, I would have taken a lot of that stuff out and realized that like I didn't need him to say it so overtly or at all. Like you would have felt the tension that like they're attracted to each other. I could have had her like glance at him, like glance at his arms, like his biceps, like little things to show that they were both attracted. And hopefully you can see how it would be a lot stronger if I'd revised it and shortened it more, so that each line was much more poignant rather than just kind of like they're talking and that's interesting, now more talking. But again, that comes with revision and being patient and being relaxed and taking breaks between revisions. So hope that was helpful. This will be the most in-depth like scene notes and scene revision example that I'm gonna post for you. But to summarize, I am really glad that I picked the topic I did. I could have made it a different scene that felt safer, but I'm glad I did the taboo romance thing, because why not? And yeah, it would have been nice if I revised more, but like hindsight is 2020. And yeah, clearly it was not like, it doesn't have to be perfect. Just like show your talent and be you, and like regardless if you get in and to the USC program or not, you will like learn more about your own writing by doing this application process, and that's a huge gain. So, and now we will go to challenge B.